Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me in my first 2022 election, Senate election prediction video. I'm going to try to be as possibly fair and objective as I can in this prediction. Please, if you disagree with me, please say so high in the comments. I think that, at least I hope, that you'll understand where I'm coming from with this map. And I don't think that there will be much disagreement, but this is my honest 2022 election prediction map. Going into what you would say a Republican wave year, the Senate is going to be hard for Republicans to retake. And obviously, you'll see what happens with my prediction. I see the House being much easier for Republicans to retake in 2 years due to just whatever you would call it, patterns in history, I guess. In 2010 and 2018, usually it is a referendum on the party in charge. And at the moment, the Democrats have a trifecta, although it is a small trifecta in the government. And we'll see what happens. But let's just get straight to the safe states. I'm really not going to go into depth about the safe states. I don't really think they need much context for both parties. And Illinois. Okay, now we'll go with Republican safes. I'm going to leave Alaska out of it just for the moment. Tim Scott will be safe. And oh, wait, not Iowa. Sorry, not Iowa yet. 45-42. Democrats still have a slight advantage. Now let's go to likely Democrat states. First likely state that I'm going to characterize is going to be the state of Colorado. And that is going to be the only likely Democrat state I'll characterize. I think Colorado is pretty likely for Democrats. It's not as safe as California, Oregon, or Washington, but it's still a very likely state for Democrats. I'm probably just going to pay more attention to the lean and tilt. Likely Republicans are Missouri. Although it was close in 2016, actually, I think it'll be much different this election. We're going to go with Iowa and Ohio. These states were states that went to Republicans in 2016, at least Republican Senate candidates, by very, very large margins. Although Chuck Grassley, I'm pretty sure, is retiring and the Iowa Senator is retiring, I think it will still be pretty likely margins. You could argue it's lean, but nonetheless, they still go to the Republicans. So Democrats still in the lead. Let's go to lean. I'm still not characterizing Alaska because that is a special race over there, but let's talk about, actually, I'm not really going to talk about Nevada. Let's see. Arizona is a lean state for the Democrats, and I'm going to leave it at that at the moment. John Kelly, I still think will win his state by around, I'd argue 2 points, maybe 1.5 to 2 points, a little bit less than what he did in 2020. That's just because it's 2018. It's supposed to be a red wave year. There's going to be higher Republican turnout, lower Democrat turnout. And he'll still keep his seat, but it'll be a closer margin than before. So let's jump into the lean Republican states, which is what I want to focus on more with Lisa Murkowski. This is kind of something that we don't really know much about at the moment. Lisa Murkowski is going to be running for re-election. However, former President Trump, whatever title you want to give him, is you could say it's him or his Republican base is coming up with candidates to primary here. She's definitely not the most loyal Republican in the Senate or in any of the chambers of Congress. She was primaried last election. She ran as a third party, actually, I think. And she still won the election by about 0.4%, I think. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think that it won't be her. I think she'll be primaried out of the Alaskan Senate race. And I think that the Republican will win it, and I don't think she'll win her Alaska re-election race. So that's just what I'm going with right now. But if she does run third party, which she probably will, it'll be a closer race. However, I still would argue lean. The next lean state will be Florida with Marco Rubio, who'll probably win by 5 to 6 points. He's got a good election coming up, given that it's in the red wave year. He won by around 7.5 points, I think, in 2016. He could do even better. You could argue he's likely, but I'll keep it in the lean category for now. Um, and same with North Carolina. I think it's Roy Blunt. Maybe it's not Roy Blunt. I'm not entirely sure. Richard Burr, actually. Uh, at least I think. He's retiring. However, I still think it'll be lean Republican. This is still a Republican state, and I think it will hold on to the Republican characterization, as I talked about. This summer, Trump still won that state, and Tom Tillis won that state, although people were arguing that Cal Cunningham would win the state and Trump would lose the state. I held on to the North Carolina win, which is what some YouTubers were election predictors were not saying. But that's for all of them, so we're tied at the moment. There's 4 states remaining. 4, these are going to be the closest races in my mind. We have Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Georgia. All, I would argue, that are close states in terms of just party distribution and voting distribution. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to go through, in my mind, the easiest characterization. I think Pennsylvania will be the first, quote, flip, for Democrats. I think that the Tom Wolf, if he runs for the Senate in Pennsylvania, he could win it by a lean or likely margin, but I do think that it is becoming a lot more polarized in Pennsylvania. I mean, it just seems like it's becoming more polarizing. I still think a win is a very popular incumbent Democrat. Senate races do have a different dynamic to it, which is why it's tilt, which is why I'll be talking about New Hampshire in a few minutes. But it's essentially New Hampshire, Pennsylvania for the same reasons with both of their Senate election races. 2 very, obviously, Tom Wolf very popular, and then Johnson, or Chris Sununu, I think, is very popular in New Hampshire as the incumbent Republican governor. In Wisconsin, I see this one going to the Republican. I think it's Ron Johnson. It may not be Ron Johnson. If it's not, or Rob Portman, no, it's Ron Johnson. I get that all mixed up with Rob Portman in Ohio and Ron Johnson in Wisconsin. I think Ron Johnson will win his Wisconsin race. Trump got it very close in 2020. This is supposed to be a red wave year. He is a somewhat popular incumbent. I really don't have much faith in the approval rating of the polls because the polls were so off in 2020. I think we all understand that. So I'm going with Wisconsin with the Republican. You could say it's lean. You could say it's tilt. It's really the same. It's going to be 49. So Republicans will. Oh wait, never mind. Sorry, there's nothing yet. It's still 1 Democrat flip actually at the moment that we're going to be talking about. The next 2 races are going to be Democrat held. So this is Jon Ossoff race, and I think if Republicans do run a good candidate, this could be a winnable state for Republicans. Georgia is this into well, Jon Ossoff actually did very well compared when you look at the trends with Georgia. It is trending bluer. He won the state this election. Same with Raphael Warnock, won the state of Georgia. And he's up for re-election again. He's obviously the less popular out of the 2 of those candidates. It honestly depends on the Republican candidate, which is why it's hard to make these predictions at the moment 2 years in advance, because we don't have candidates that are in the opposition yet. But what I'm going to go with right now is, it's actually a very difficult state to characterize. So I don't think David Perdue would win the race. I don't think he would run or win, and I don't think Kelly Loeffler would run or win. I mean, it depends on the primary, but and it could be another, runoff election. That's what it seems like is going to be happening in especially Georgia Senate races with the, increased closeness of the state and new, I guess it's somewhat new runoff rules in elections. So right now, I see this going to. I mean, this is probably going to be the most heated debate out of all the Senate races. I see it going to the Republicans by a tilt margin. I don't think Jon Ossoff is really. He's not the most. He's kind of like the. I guess you could say establishment Democrat. It honestly depends on what the Republicans run. If the Republicans run David Perdue or Kelly Loeffler, I think they'd lose the race. If they run somebody else who I would actually say is more somewhat of a populist candidate, honestly, like Trump, although he did lose Georgia, he did better than Perdue and Loeffler did. the Republicans would have a better shot. So we'll see what happens in Georgia. I know Laura Trump wants to run North Carolina. I'm not really talking about that at the moment. I'm just going based off of demographics. But Georgia's more important, I think, to talk about with the race dynamics. So I think if Republicans do run more of a populist candidate, they'll have a better shot. I'll give it to them at the moment. With New Hampshire, Chris Sununu is signaling he wants to run for the Senate election in 2022. That will be, and obviously we heard about Doug Ducey in Arizona, not looking like he's going to run. If he does, that could change my race, but not at the moment. But if Chris Sununu decides to run in New Hampshire, that changes the dynamics of the race. Excuse me a lot. Maggie Hassan, I'm pretty sure the incumbent New Hampshire senator, ran against Kelly Ayotte in 2016 and won by, I think, 0.1%. So, and Chris Sununu is more popular than Kelly Ayotte, and Maggie Hassan barely won the state of New Hampshire, which makes it a very interesting election to predict. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually not even going to put it in the tilt category. I feel pretty confident that Chris Sununu will win New Hampshire. This could also be a highly debated thing, but I know that the dynamics of the Senate race are different. And for that matter, I'll put Pennsylvania as lean Democrat just to even it out. But the two very popular incumbent governors, I mean, just look at the percents that each of these two won in their states. The Senate dynamic is very different, of course, but I think that they'll be able to win their Senate races. And I think that each party will be focusing on other races. The Democrats will be focusing on Wisconsin. Actually, both parties will be focusing on Wisconsin, Georgia, possibly North Carolina with the Democrats. And the Republicans will be trying to pick up, I would say, or at least hold on to Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Arizona, and you could possibly talk about in Nevada. However, I don't see that popular at the moment. So I have Republicans having the Senate at the moment. It could very likely be 50-50 with Jon Ossoff winning in Georgia, or even Ron Johnson losing in Wisconsin. But I see the Republican edge. I know that I predicted the Republicans would have the majority in 2020. I think that this is a different dynamic. It's 2022. It's a red wave year. And I'm honestly trying to be as objective as I can when I make this. So I hope that you don't think that I'm, trying to appease a certain, whatever you could call it, subset of group. I'm really not. I'm giving my honest prediction as to what I will think will happen. 2020 prediction. My final prediction was pretty bad, but you could go back a few weeks and the other predictions were better. Just the one right before it was even more like had a better understanding of it. I'm going to be changing the way we making prediction videos. The only other prediction that I would to change, the things that I would change, this could be something that this is what I think will happen, but what I could change is I could say Wisconsin, Georgia, and New Hampshire will all go Democrat. However, I don't think that will happen at the moment, but that would be probably something that I would say, a more liberal-minded person would predict. I'm trying to be moderate. Obviously, I have my own biases, but I think it's important to do that. I'll be coming out with some governor election predictions. I'm going to be talking about, hopefully in the future, I've been very, very busy. I know it's the end of the semester. I've been trying to keep some sort of a schedule with the channel, but it's really not been able to happen. But this is my Senate prediction at the moment. I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll be talking about Biden's approval, hopefully soon, which is very, very high at the moment, which I want to talk about. Also, a lot of Republican primaries, what president, whatever you want to call him, is doing in Florida. He obviously has a lot of money that was raised in the, quote, Stop the Steal campaign. And we'll see what he plans to do with all the funds and what he plans to do moving forward with the party in the next 4 years, assuming he runs again in 2024. So we'll see what happens then. But aside from that, there is a lot of area that we can discuss at the moment. It does seem like more of a boring time in American politics with no new elections coming up. The new administration just inaugurated a whole new Congress for 2 years and a new presidency for 4. So it does not seem like, excuse me, the most exciting time to talk, but I'll do my best to come up with the content. Right now, this is my prediction. I know a lot of the YouTube prediction accounts are doing it. I'll do mine on February 1st. Maybe I'll make it on March 1st, and hopefully I can continue doing that. But I'll see what happens. Honestly, I'm not sure how when I'll be making it, my availability. So if you want to, you can turn on the notifications and you'll know exactly when I have a new video. But aside from that, thank you guys so much for watching. This is my 2022 Senate election predictions as of February 1st, 2021. Please stay tuned for more videos, subscribe to my channel if you enjoy the content, and have a nice day.